Hi, welcome to our daily encounter. As we get further into the book of Ezra, we see the completion of the temple. And it's interesting as we look at the process that it took to get to that point where the temple was complete, that it closely mirrors what we find Christ doing when it comes to the church. With the book of Ezra, we have them first coming back and building the altar and offering up the sacrifices. And then secondly, we see the foundation of the temple being laid. And then thirdly, then the temple is built up and completed. And when we think about Christ and his church, again, this process is mirrored. We have first the sacrifice. We have first Christ being sacrificed on the cross. And so it starts with the sacrifice of Christ. And then, having given himself as the sacrifice, he becomes then the foundation of the church. And we could reference 1 Corinthians chapter 3. It says, no other foundation can be laid than that which has been laid, which is Christ. And he became the foundation. And from that foundation then, the temple of God today, the church, is built. And continues to be built up spiritually, as far as being built up to become stronger, to become more and more conformed into Christ's image, but also in a physical nature, in that the more that it grows and expands here on the earth, it is being built up as well, as more and more people come to a saving relationship with Christ. But there's something within this process that we want to take note of. It's noteworthy. And this is this time between when the foundation was laid and when the temple becomes complete. Because somewhere in between there, men of the surrounding area rise up and they write to the king. And they basically say, hey, these people are rebuilding the temple. They are a rebellious people. You look at their history. They always rebel, and if you allow them to finish building this temple, it's going to end up hurting you financially and hurting the kingdom. And so the king tells them to cease building. And the people at that time, they didn't seem to put in a lot of effort to trying to work with the king to get to building the temple again. Basically, the king tells them to quit, and they quit, and then they go about their own business. They begin to, excuse me, build their self houses, get themselves comfortable, and they eventually forget about building up the house of the Lord. And one of the prophets that are mentioned in Ezra that helped kind of motivate the people to get back to building was Haggai. And it's in Haggai chapter 1 and verse 4, where he proclaims the word of the Lord when it says, is it time for you yourselves to dwell in your paneled houses while this house lies desolate? And so they were enjoying their own houses, but were forgetting about the house of the Lord. And so they left the work of the Lord incomplete. And as we reflect on our own lives and we look at the things that we have begun to do for the Lord and have not completed, we need to use this as motivation for us. You know, I don't know if you've ever had a project that you started and never finished. Maybe it was a sewing project, some other type of project, and at the time it seemed like a good idea, and you were motivated and you wanted to do it, but maybe you ran into some hiccups, you ran into some problems, and before you know it, the project just kind of got pushed to the side. Well, that's all fine and good when it comes to hobbies and things like that, but when it comes to spiritual things, we should not allow that to happen. We have to ask ourselves the question, is there any work that I have started for the Lord and that I've left uncompleted? Is there anything that I felt very strong about, very passionate about at one point in time, and maybe I was bound and determined to do some type of work for the Lord, but as opposition came, perhaps, as maybe some unforeseen difficulties arose, and it just became a little bit too hard to accomplish, I kind of pushed it to the side. We have to ask ourselves, is there anything like that in our lives? If so, we need to take this word from Haggai and apply it to that, you know what, should I be enjoying my life and sitting back and relaxing and enjoying life when there is work that I have left unfinished for the Lord? It's time to look back. Maybe you have to look back a week, a month, 2 years, 3 years, maybe way back, decades of something that's incomplete. Let's pick those things back up again and begin to work for the Lord and accomplish the things that we were once passionate for. So let's just spend today thinking about that and meditating on that and contemplating on those sorts of things. I thank you guys for listening in today. I do love you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. God bless.